program is intended for mature audiences only. If you have any homicidal or suicidal feelings, please consult a doctor before listening to this program.
Of course, we've got the one and only Jenny McCartney in the booth, the social media goddess herself, pushing those buttons, making the show go again today. And, the co-hosts. I guess we'll go with the co-hosts. We got some of those, of course, coming to us live via satellite, as always, from his perch, I guess, high atop the Mill Bay Studios in beautiful Mill Bay, British Columbia, Canada, is the one and only Louis Lawless. Yes, high atop there. Are you there, Louis?
You know how to spell my last name on the check, right? It's Louis Lawless.
Yes, we got that. Don't worry.
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show?
Now you go right ahead, sir. We've got you covered.
It's about fucking time. Move on.
All right. And also joining us from his wonderful, beautiful, stately, I must say, apartment in Manhattan here in the big city is the one, the only, what's his name again? Oh, yes, Gilbert Godfrey. Are you ready, sir?
What the fuck?
Huh? Okay.
I'm ready.
Good. All right.
Yes.
All right. Gilbert Godfrey joining us from his lovely home here in the city. And also joining us is, of course, the one, the only George Takei, all the way from his home in Los Angeles, California. George, thank you for coming.
I think it's a treat to be here talking with you.
Yeah. There you go. And thank you. That's awesome. Now, is this thing on?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's on. Is this on? Is this on? I can't tap it. I would tap it, but I won't do that. So.
There you go. Well.
Right. Only one, Meeps. That's us. The only one, HTLA Radio 1 New York, and you're here and you're listening. And this is Straight Talk. And, yeah, we've got 90 minutes of springtime in the city stories for you tonight. And, lots of social injustice stories. I'm in the mood for ranting. We said we weren't going to do a rant show, but here we are, and it's going to turn into a rant show.
It is, yes.
I can't help but be angry about the stories. You know, there's just too much to be excited about. Everybody's got to bring us down with all this stuff.
Stupidity.
That's right. And well, we'll talk about that too, because we've got a great show coming up for you that we've got in development for a little while now, and we're going to launch that Wednesday, and we'll talk about that a bit later. That's pretty exciting. That's called The Spotlight with Kate and Crush.
Absolutely. And tonight, a bit of a free-for-all. We're going to tear it up for you on tonight's Straight Talk. Everything from the day's events to some politics goodiness and the struggle, of course, to maintain home and work. We'll get into it all tonight. Professional businesswomen that I talk to, they do the work, but it's just the corporate work, and they think that's enough because, damn it, I've just put 12 hours a day in today in my job, and
right.
They feel deserving of something else, not to come home and take care of the kids, and not to come home and take care of the husband, and not to come home and take care of anything else.
Right.
It's time for them to kick their feet up now and go hit the bars and relax or something because they've earned it. Right. And I'm here to say that as a man, we do that all the time. We always have. We go out and work our full-time jobs or more.
Right.
And we come home and we're still expected to be the dad. We're still expected to help the kids with the homework. We're still expected to have activities and stuff with our family and have that interaction and put that time in.
Sure.
Maybe that's why we get 100% of our pay instead of 70% of our pay.
Right. Well, you're not... Well, in the tradition now, men are also expected to do half the housework and half of all that stuff, whereas it used to just be before, you know, the garbages and the lawns and all that stuff that you do, the man stuff, you know. So, yes, and unfortunately, in some cases, in a great majority of the households now, more often than not, the women are working, and, you know, I have so many, you know, friends that I know that their husbands take care of the kids and drop the kids at school and do the school activities and do the projects and wash the clothes and
Yes, but with that comes the dreaded beta male, because there's not a single one of those men that I have met that I would look up to in battle.
No, of course not. And this is to our thinking, you know, to our thinking. And while it took us years, while it took us years in practice, it was an ideology that we shared from the moment that we met anyway.
Yeah.
The whole, that was our vision for what the ideal family was.
Hi, I'm Gil Fulbright. The people that run my campaign, they've made this commercial, and I'm in it. This campaign, it's not about me. It's about crafting a version of me that'll appeal to you. A version that visits random work sites with paid actors pointing at things. A version of me that doesn't find old people loathsome or pointless. Has a conventionally attractive yet curiously still family. Listening to my constituents, legislating, these are things I don't do. What I do is spend about 70% of my time raising funds for re-election. I'd do anything to stay in office. My name's Gil Fulbright, but hell, I'll change my name to Phil Goldbright or Bill Fulbright or fill up my mouth with farts. These are the things that are important to me. And these are the fine people that finance my campaign. Now, in order to do these things, I have to stay in office. And to stay in office, I have to keep these guys happy. Now, if any of these things make these guys unhappy, well, my hands are tied. So come November, the choice is clear. Do you want another spineless mouthpiece for special interest in lobbyists? Or a spineless mouthpiece for special interest in lobbyists? I'm Philip a Mouth with Farts, and I approve this message.
He is. That's right. Fill up my mouth with farts. Yes, the election 2016 campaign that's sure to go all the way. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it may be to you. To us, it's 3 p.m. Eastern in the big city of New York. It's time for your coffee and cigarettes for your Monday Mocha this Monday, the 27th of April, 2015. Oh, yeah. That's what time it is. It's the official fill up my mouth with farts time. Yes, that's what that is right there. Well, here's hoping you had a good weekend. I know we did. It's currently 60 degrees in New York City right now. In the old Central Park there. Cloudy, but still 60. What do we care, right? We're all in here in the big buildings working anyway. Well, today on the week's opener, hope fades for 4 lost at sea after a storm blasts the Alabama regatta. As, of course, the death toll in Nepal hitting 4,000 amid hunt for survivors. Also, the Baltimore police receive a credible threat to officers. Well, we've got 9 key questions here about being transgender. That's right. It's going to be a gooder. Yes, Bruce Jenner sure makes us wonder. Or is it indeed Juice Benner? Now, with his name, I don't know. We've got all that and so much more on today's show, ladies and gentlemen. So, hey, come on in, grab a cup, have a seat, light one up. It is coffee time. Yes, the theme we all know and love. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Well, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it may be to you. This is, of course, Coffee and Cigarettes in New York City, 3 p.m. Eastern on HTLA Radio 1, New York's best talk. And what do we got going today? Well, I guess the first thing we got going today is this show is brought to you by the fine folks at Tim Hortons, New York City. Now, with 8 fine locations in that city to serve all your coffee and baked goods needs. That's right, Tim Hortons is always fresh. And that 7-day-old stuff we get at the other guys there now. And also a mention to, of course, PreSonus, the Studio Live 24/4/2 digital broadcast mixer we use here at Studio 2 is just stellar. You just, pound for pound, dollar for dollar, you won't get any better without a prescription there. So check out, if you're into any kind of professional audio gear needs at all, presonus.com. And, of course, we have the one and only Jenny McCartney with us in the booth, pushing the buttons today, making the show go for us, as always. And, yes, I've made sure she's topless. Of course. Duh. Come on, it's the Crash Man. Ah, yes, and that's the thing I forget to mention every show. You're listening to Chris Crash Jesus Taylor here in Studio 2 in Manhattan right now. And, we're going to some guest co-hosts. Notice I'm not using the Terminator anymore. No, his time has come. He has passed. But that's okay, because we have more than enough exciting talent and fun in these fine gentlemen here today on the show. Starting off, of course, the one and only filmmaker extraordinaire, Louis D. Lawless, working out of Mill Bay Studios in beautiful Millbrae, British Columbia. Yes, that's where he is in Canada, there on the West Coast. Louis, are you there, sir?
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show?
I don't know why you got to ask that every single time we do the show. You know better than that.
The music is fantastic. Oh, you got to hear it.
Well, if I could, actually, if my headphones were working, but
it's about fucking time. Move on.
All right. Well, they're not working, and moving on. Of course, from about 8 blocks down the road, we got our good man Gilbert Gottfried in the house. Are you ready, sir?
What the fuck? I'm ready.
Good. I, however, am not. It's not funny, idiot. I'm not ready.
Yes. I've been on enough radio shows to know that in the middle of an answer, the guy is like checking the boards and looking over notes and talking to other people. Yes. See? Now you're impressed.
Yeah. No, I'm not impressed. I'm the one doing it all. What are you talking about?
They get fucking crazy because all of a sudden nobody loves them.
I know, Louis. I know. It's okay. What are you going to do? You know?
I'll get you, General Rommel.
Oh, thank you for that. That was so nice of you.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I love it when you do those little impersonations.
Yes.
But seeing as how I'm not going to introduce the one, the only Arnold Schwarzenegger, we've got some extra time. So I don't know. Give me another one. What do you got there, Gilbert?
Let's fight Hitler.
You gotta love it. You know.
I'd like to have that as my slogan in life.
Well, and true. I mean, who wouldn't? You know, absolutely.
Now, here's a segue.
What do you got?
Hey, yo, Jojo's, hey, Cary Grant as a cantor. Hey, yo, Jojo's, hey,
You just you're right off today. Well, you know he is, and I'll tell you why he is. Because of course we don't have to deal with Boo Boo Schwarzenegger anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. He's done. He's out of there. And no, I was going to have Tony Stark there, Robert Downey Jr. Here this week, starting off. Of course today, and he's late.
Yes.
Yeah. But he's not going to be with us today. However, I have been informed by folks who know the right people that he will be, of course, here tomorrow.
Yeah.
What are you laughing? Those are the same people that say you're here at all.
Yes.
So, oh boy. Okay, well, moving on. And as per our contract agreement with old Gilbert here,
yes,
we have to do the obligatory song. So, Gilbert, please, if you will take it away.
Na 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 na, ba ma 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 ma. Oh yeah. Who wants to grow up? Who wants responsibility? Oh, no, not me. Who wants to show up and work until you're 93?
Definitely not me.
Now everybody says you're running wild. The teacher's calling you a problem. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, there you go, gang. You heard it here first, or last, or I guess still is the is the dealio there. But there it is, you know.
Hey, you choo-choos, hey.
Okay. Well, can we get on with the show? Can we?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay. You're all excited now. There's no Schwarzenegger to get in the way.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I got to be fair. I got to be fair. I'm totally excited too.
Yes.
It's about fucking time. Move on.
Okay. All right. There we go. Well, moving on. Our first story today is the hope that's lost. There's nothing quite like lost hope. That's I think my favorite thing.
Yes.
Yeah. It lets me know I'm not alone. Yeah. Well, hope is fading for 4 lost at sea after a huge storm blasted the Alabama regatta. Coast Guard rescue teams were racing the clock today in the search for 4 people believed missing in Alabama's Mobile Bay since a storm late Saturday tore through the sailboat regatta. At least 2 people were killed. More than 40 more have been pulled from the bay, and rescuers and mostly Good Samaritans, as well as the Coast Guard. The list of the missing dropped to 4 from 5 when a man contacted authorities to say he had not been lost, the Coast Guard said today. Rescuers have searched thousands of square miles since a line of thunderstorms roared through the area with wind gusts of up to 75 miles an hour. The 55th annual Dauphin Island race had drawn more than 100 sailboats to the area. Other boats also were caught in the storm. Several rescue boats, planes, helicopters, all aided in the search. Families of the missing huddled at the Coast Guard station, waiting for word. Initially, there was optimism as dozens of sailors were plugged from a rugged seas. Randy Rutledge and Rhonda Morgan of Rome, Georgia, told AL.com that they were 15 minutes from the island, about to complete the race, when the weather turned. I'll bet you they were in first place, too. We would have won if it hadn't been for that damn storm.
Yes.
Well, the waves quickly sank their 23.5-foot boat and the 22-foot boat of friends they were sailing with. It was just unbelievable how high the waves were, Rhonda said. They were just bashing from every side. I wonder if anybody out there was like, "Help me, Rhonda, help me, Rhonda."
It's just life, and I love doing it. I love doing these kind of stories anyway.
Yes, Louis, these stories about death. Yeah. She says we knew we were totally lost at sea. The search for the missing pressed on Captain Duke Walker, and said more than 3,000 square miles had been covered by early this morning. Determining who was missing was a difficult task with 119 boats registered for the race and had provided no crew lists to race organizers, he said. We're very grateful for the continued assistance of state, local agencies, and Good Samaritans who helped individuals in distress, Walker said. He warned, however, that the volunteers should provide assistance on land only, saying weather conditions were expected to deteriorate throughout the day. Last thing we want is a higher death toll. And hey, speaking of death toll, man, have I got a cool story.
Yes.
Yeah. How about 4,000? Yes. 4,000 now dead in Nepal amid a hunt for survivors. Yes, the terrible earthquake which happened there. Rescuers in Nepal desperately searching today for survivors who may be buried amid rubble in the capital of Kathmandu or trapped in remote mountain villages as the death toll soared past 4,000 from Saturday's massive earthquake. The tally could raise further after officials assess the damage to communities nestled in the mountains. Efforts to reach those remote villages have so far been hampered by landslides and have blocked many mountain trails. 3 Americans were among those killed on Mount Everest after the quake triggered an avalanche. Yudiv Pashad Tamsina, the top of the Gorkha district, where the magnitude 7.8 was centered, said he was in desperate need of help. There were people who were not getting food and shelter. I've had reports of villages where 70% of the houses have been destroyed, he said, according to the Associated Press. Talmansina said 223 people had been confirmed dead in the Gorkha district, but he presumed the number would go up because there are thousands who are injured. He said his district had not recovered enough help from the central government, but Army spokesman Jagadish Pokatrel said nearly the entire 100,000-soldier army was involved in rescue operations. We have 90% of the army out there working on search and rescue, he told the AP. We're focusing on our efforts on that and on saving lives. Matt Darvis of the aid group World Vision said many remote villages will be accessible only by helicopter. Villages like this are routinely affected by landslides, and it's not uncommon for the entire villages of 200 to 300 up to 1,000 people to be completely buried by rockfalls, Darvis said. Among those killed are 18 people who died on Mount Everest after the quake triggered an avalanche that buried part of the base camp, plus 61 people who had died in India, and 25 so far reported dead in Tibet. A U.S. Air Force C-17 carrying search experts and 45 tons of cargo was scheduled to land in Nepal today, with a second flight due tomorrow, the Pentagon said. 2 Army Special Forces teams that were in Nepal doing other things when the earthquake struck are, of course, aiding in the rescue efforts. More than a dozen countries and many charities are sending aid, but Nepal needs more, says Leela Mani Pudyal, the government's chief secretary and the rescue coordinator. He said the recovery was also being slowed because many workers, water tanker drivers, electricity company employees, and laborers needed to clear debris are all gone to their families and staying with them, refusing to work. We are appealing for tents, dry goods, blankets, mattresses, and 80 different medicines that the health department is seeking that we desperately need now, Pudyal told reporters. We don't have the helicopters that we need for the expertise to rescue the people trapped. Well, the arrival of relief flights has caused major backups at Kathmandu's small airport. 4 Indian Air Force aircraft carrying aid supplies and rescue personnel were forced to return to New Delhi on Monday because of airport congestion. Indian Defense Ministry spokesman Sitsansu Kar said India planned to resend the planes later Monday night when the situation was expected to have eased. So there you go. Don't take any wooden earthquakes. Yeah. I don't even know what the hell that meant.
Yes.
But, yeah. There you go. That's what we got for Monday. So we're going to go for our first commercial break. But don't worry. When we come back, we've got all sorts of joy to tell you about the Baltimore police receiving death threats to officers. Back in 2.
You've got it locked to New York's best talk, HTLA Radio 1.
What if there was a coffee that was sourced from some of the world's most renowned growing regions, abundant with rich, fertile soil? What if this coffee was picked at the perfect moment, then packed meticulously and shipped carefully to be roasted under the watchful eye of coffee masters? What if it was expertly blended, ground, and sealed, ensuring maximum flavor and freshness, then brewed in small batches and always served fresh within 20 minutes, just the way you like it? Now, what if this coffee just happened to be the coffee you already know and love? Tim Hortons. Always fresh. Always great tasting coffee.
Man, I've been to a lot of places over these past 50 years. Seen the whole true north strong and free. 'Cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Cooksville, Stouffville, Bainesville, Bowmanville, Bonneville, Unionville, Oakville, Dunville, Brockville, Boucherville, Melville, Drummondville, Kentville, Grenville, Morinville, Maryville, Parksville, Stephenville, Sackville, Spring Hill, Westville, Walkerville, hanging on a windowsill. Hey! He said, wow, that's a lot of places. I said, hang on, there's more. I've been to Moncton, Picton, Shannon, Vernon, Stellarton, Hamilton, Nipigon, Nobleton, Yorkton, Brighton, Bolton, Beaverton, Brandon, Edmonton, Walkerton, Wyerton, Granby, Miramichi, Charlottetown, Burnaby, Yellowknife, Whitehorse, Corner Brook, none of it. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I crossed the prairies bare, man. I breathed the mountain air. I've traveled, I've done my share, man. I've been everywhere, man. Check it out. Ottawa, Wawa, Mattawa, Chippewa, Moose Jaw, Oshawa.
Some said the U.S. has lost its innovative power. We said America is lighting the way as the innovation nation. Singular insights, superior execution. That's the power of global connections. Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Voted top global research firm 2011, 12, and 13.
Automatic freshness, softness, and static control has never been easier with the Bounce Dryer Bar. I just stick it to the inside of my dryer, and I never have to remember.
Old Spice Body Spray makes you smell like power! It's so powerful it sells itself in other people's commercials. You smell like outdoor freshness.
You smell like power.
Yeah, I do. Power!
I've been so inspired by being in New York because everything from what people are wearing on the street to the way they're interacting with each other, to drive through the West Village at night and you see a couple kissing on the street, or you see someone fighting outside their apartment, or you see so much humanity on a daily basis that even if you're not inspired by your own life that day, you can be inspired by someone else's life.
You got that long hair, slick back, white t-shirt, and I got that good girl face and a tight little skirt. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time, 'cause we never go out of style. We never go out of style. Take me out.
There's only one place to get more Taylor. We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
He was always nice to me.
Well, I think whenever you do greater things, it's unusual. It's strange. It's weird. I mean, you know, that there are very few people in the world that does what you do.
That's Jenny with a little bit of canned Arnold. Funny. I'll get you. Yes, I will.
Yes.
Welcome back to the big show this afternoon. Coffee and cigarettes, of course. HTLA Radio 1, New York's best talk. Just kicking back on the coffee show this afternoon, talking a little bit of death and. There's nothing quite like a little bit of death. You know, you got to have a little death to, you know, kind of even it out, lighten it up a little bit.
I'll get you, General Ramos.
You being Catholic, you realize that you can have birth control. You realize that?
Yeah, but why? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there's birth control, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel right, you know? Oh, what is a man to do?
Yes.
What is a man to do? Well, welcome back to the big show this afternoon. And, of course, in the first segment there, we told you about the nastiness in Nepal. Yes, and more death off the coast of Alabama. Yeah. It's all good because it's if it's not death, then it's something that matters. We gotta deal with something there. Well, what's with you, Gilbert, today and all the Nazi stuff? What is?
Let's fight Hitler.
Yeah. No, I was trying to be serious. What are you talking about with that all the Nazi stuff today?
Oh yes,
Huh?
both the Nazis on Hogan's Heroes were Jews.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That doesn't have anything to do with anything, but I'm glad you threw it in there.
I'll get you, General Rommel.
Oh, you're crazy, man. You're crazy.
Hey, Joes, hey.
I think somebody put something in Gilbert's Wheaties today. That's what's going on there.
Bullshitters, never keep your mouth shut, always hustling, always looking for something to do and putting things together. That's a American. Look how they took the country away from England.
It's always about England with you, Louis. Oh, if it's not Louis in England, it's Gilbert and Nazis, you know?
He needs love, Chris. Come on.
Well, I know.
You gotta dispense more love from yourself. All these people are hurting here.
No, I think you're talking about Gilbert. And don't worry, he gets my love. Yeah. Well, let's see. Moving on. Surely we don't have more death. Well, no. We do have death threats.
Yes.
Yeah. This story comes to us from USA Today. The Baltimore Police Department said today it had received credible threats that local gangs are targeting police officers. The department announced that the Criminal Intelligence Unit had obtained information indicating members of various gangs, including the Black Guerrilla Family, the Bloods, and the Crips, have entered into partnership to take out law enforcement officers. This is going to make for some good YouTubing next week. All that violence against a black man. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the department said law enforcement agencies and officers should take appropriate precautions and shoot black people on sight. Yes. Well, the alert was issued as thousands of mourners gathered at a Baltimore church for the funeral of Freddie Gray, whose death on April 19th, while in police custody, set off a week of protests. Most of the protests were quiet until Saturday night. Saturday's rally began as a peaceful protest, more than 1,000 people. Police Commissioner Anthony Batts said that he moved through the crowd, promising that his office was making systematic changes. Batts, who is black, said the organized protest had essentially wrapped up when intense confrontations resulted in violence. He has blamed the violence on agitators. The protesters became very violent. They began to throw objects, Batts said Saturday night. They picked up aluminum barricades and smashed windows at our bars and pubs. We figured the next thing to go down was the shoe stores. Yes, look on eBay for more Nike Airs.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the protesters became very violent. Patrol cars were smashed. 6 police officers suffered minor injuries. 34 people were arrested. Batts said that some residents moved between police and the angry crowd, urging the protesters not to damage the city. He commended police officers for showing tremendous restraint and not opening up and capping no ass. I am proud of our residents and our police officers, Batts said. A vast majority of residents out there did a good job. A small number of people felt like they had to turn it into an ugly day, so they mother effing did. Oh, and you know, this isn't going away.
Yes.
No, it's not going away. It's not. We're just going to just keep having this stuff. It doesn't matter. It's not racial. Gilbert, do the chanter. Yeah.
Hey, Joes, hey.
There we go. See, it's not racial. There you go. Well, now we got to move into a little bit of a fun part of the show.
Yes.
We don't often get to do this kind of fun stuff, but, well, just as it turns out today, because Bruce Jenner went on his little show there on Saturday. Or should I say Juice Benner?
Yes.
Yes, that's the... Tim Hortons, nothing like it.
Yes.
Yes, Bruce Jenner. Yes, just everything in the news is Bruce Jenner. Oh, my God. Kim Kardashian supports Bruce Jenner. Yeah. Well, and that's a good thing, because you wouldn't want a nobody promoting you, would you? No, so we got Kim Kardashian. There we go. There she is. Just promoting her little big ass off. Yes. Well, and it's funny, too, because I've sort of often, I don't know, I see some pictures of Kardashian there, and I look at her, and I'm like, I think that's Kanye West.
They get crazy because all of a sudden nobody loves them.
Right. That's exactly it.
No, Frank and I were talking that your mother was in a movie.
Oh, right. You must be talking about Bride of Frankenstein. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, no, I would say, go ahead.
Oh, thanks. It's just my show, don't after you. Yeah.
I'm the most talented guy in this room.
That's because you're sitting in your living room alone. But yes, we do have to move on to the story.
It's about fucking time. Move on.
Oh, I'm going. Jeez. Well, this whole Bruce Jenner thing. He comes out on his little Saturday, afternoon kids special there. And comes out and he's like, "I'm a woman and I'm comfortable with it."
Yes.
Well, Bruce, I'm glad you're comfortable with it. However, nobody else is. No, they're just not. They're scared. They're very scared. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, and they're raving in the media about, oh my God, he got 16.7 million viewers. Oh, it's wonderful. Well, in a country of 350 million. That's kind of so ratings. That's not really. Yeah, we're gonna have to cancel you, Bruce.
Yes.
Well, anyway, we thought it'd be fun here because we all know how much all us folks at Coffee and Cigarettes love transgenders. we thought it'd be kind of fun to go through some key questions about being transgender. So we kind of we'll just do this.
What the fuck?
We're gonna do it, damn it!
I'm ready.
You say that now. Yeah. Well, if you were part of that 16.9 million people who turned in to hear Bruce Jenner confirm that he is transitioning to a woman, the 2-hour special might have left you with more questions than answers. I'm drawn to an email we got at HTLA on Saturday night. WTF! What is sexual orientation? What is gender identity? If Bruce identifies as a woman but is still sexually attracted to women, how the hell do you make sense of that crap?
Which woman are you married to or living with now? The same one? The mother of the daughter, or was it a boy?
Boy, girl, it doesn't matter. I'm transgender now. Well, we spoke with Nick Adams, a transgender man, and Randy Kaufman, a clinical psychologist at Fenway Community Health in Boston, about common misconceptions people have about transgender people and some of the issues they face. Well, Adams is the director of programs for transgender media, GLAAD. Yes, it's not just a garbage bag anymore. Oh, no. Well, GLAAD says that 8% of Americans personally know someone who is transgender, according to a poll by GLAAD and a bunch of transgender wannabes. Now, for those of you who need an interpreter, here are some answers. What is transgender is probably the first question coming to every normal person's head. Well, good old Crash Man is here to straighten that one out for you.
Yes.
Yes, a transgender is a person whose internal sense of themselves, a man or a woman, is different than the body they are born in. It's different than sex they were assigned with at birth. It's too bad you can't go and get in a line somewhere with a pink form and go and get a different one installed. It's like the return aisle at Walmart.
Yes.
You know? Yeah, hi. My wife bought me this vagina. She's an idiot. Can I just get a penis?
Yes.
Right? Well, no. I don't care about credit or cashback or anything. I just want the 4-inch one. So, yes, different than the sex they were assigned with at birth. Your biological sex is made up of a combination of things, including your sexual chromosomes, the hormones in your body, and secondary sex characteristics. But gender identity is completely internal. It's not visible to others. It's that internal sense of yourself as a man or a woman, according to Adams. So the gender they're assigned doesn't add up with how they view themselves. When you are born, someone looks at your external genitals and assigns something to you. But that might not be how you feel inside. So someone who identifies as transgender may identify with their gender differently than their assigned gender, according to Kaufman. Well, let's see. Let me think about that for a minute. I'm a manly man, and you know, I got a penis, so I'm a man.
Yes.
You know, there's no dicking around there. But, you know, I got to say, I've had those fantasies before. You know, if I was a woman, you know, what would I be doing? If I was a woman, man, I'd be playing with myself all day long. I'd grab my little titties and give them a nice twist and jam my fist up my... You know, but you see, I guess, okay, so, but that's because I'm interested in women,
yes,
right, as a man. So, but if I had those organs, I'd be playing with them all the time. So, don't laugh, Gilbert. I'm trying to straighten this out.
Yes.
Now, does that mean I'm transgender because I'd be just all over myself all the time? I don't know. Okay. Well, I hope that answered question number 1. Yeah. Moving on to question number 2. Why do people have a hard time differentiating between sexual orientation and gender identity? Well, Adams says, in general, people are much more familiar with the concept of sexual orientation, or whether a person is lesbian or gay. Oh, there's only the 2 choices now? I can't even be straight anymore? What? No, wait. Technically, I think I'm a lesbian. I like women.
Yes.
So is that, I guess, I don't look at me. I don't know.
Break for a commercial.
Yeah. Well, and people are much more familiar with the concept of sexual orientation, whether a person is lesbian or gay, but much less familiar with gender identity and who transgender people really are. He says Step 1 is getting people to understand that sexual orientation is who you are attracted to, or who you want to fall in love with, and gender identity is who you actually are as a person. This doesn't help because neither one points to what's between your legs. It's,
They get crazy because all of a sudden nobody loves them.
Yeah, that's really what I'm thinking here. All transgender people have a sexual orientation. Heterosexual, gay, lesbian, or bisexual, just like everyone else, Adam says. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad they're just like me. Yes. He says it's not complicated. I'm a transgender man. I was female at birth. I'm attracted to men, and I've been in a relationship with a gay man. I am a gay man, Adam says. There are transgender women that identify as lesbians. Holy Christ, now I'm confused. What? Well, we'll be back with the remaining 7 lovely questions here in just a few moments after our next commercial break. Back in 2.
You've got it locked to New York's best talk, HTLA Radio 1.
Man, I've been to a lot of places over these past 50 years. Seen the whole true north strong and free. 'Cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Cooksville, Stouffville, Bainesville, Bowmanville, Bonnieville, Unionville, Oakville, Dunville, Brockville, Boucherville, Melville, Drummondville, Kentville, Grenville, Morinville, Maryville, Parksville, Stephenville, Sackville, Spring Hill, Westville, Walkerville, hanging on a windowsill. Hey! He said, wow, that's a lot of places. I said, hang on, there's more. I've been to Moncton, Picton, Shannon, Vernon, Stellarton, Hamilton, Nipigon, Nobleton, Yorkton, Brighton, Bolton, Beaverton, Brandon, Edmonton, Walkerton, Wyerton, Granby, Miramichi, Charlottetown, Burnaby, Yellowknife, Whitehorse, Corner Brook, Nunavut. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I crossed the prairies bare, man. I breathed the mountain air. I've traveled, I've done my share, man. I've been everywhere, man. Check it out. Ottawa, Wawa, Mattawa, Chippewa, Moose Jaw, Oshawa.
It could be 7 in the morning. Or 10 at night. In Chilliwack, BC. Or St. Peter's, Nova Scotia. It could be Michelle. Or Mark. Or Jen. But whenever, wherever you order that cup of Tim Hortons Premium Blend Coffee, you know that it's always fresh.
From Newfoundland and Labrador to Vancouver Island, Tim Hortons, a coffee all our own.
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the Egyptian cotton towels. Shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York. Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
Some said the U.S. has lost its innovative power. We said America is lighting the way as the innovation nation. Singular insights, superior execution. That's the power of global connections. Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Voted top global research firm 2011, 12, and 13.
I've been so inspired by being in New York because everything from what people are wearing on the street to the way they're interacting with each other, to drive through the West Village at night and you see a couple kissing on the street, or you see someone fighting outside their apartment, or you see so much humanity on a daily basis that even if you're not inspired by your own life that day, you can be inspired by someone else's life.
You got that long hair, slicked back, white t-shirt, and I got that good girl face and a tight little skirt. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time, 'cause we never go out, we never style, we never go out of style. Take me out.
There's only one place to get more Taylor. We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
Another person we're both fascinated by.
I remember when I was running for governor.
Jenny,
and it was
keep the idiot off. Yeah. You know, it was all we could do to get rid of him.
Yes.
So, God, man, I don't know.
I remember being on your radio show in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I remember we hung out afterwards and had a wild time.
It was something to do, you know. Yeah.
And I remember, too, when we were in the alleyway, pants zipped up, there was this one, sleazy-looking guy who walked by who was staring at us, and you turned around, and, he was a, what? What? What's your problem? And you said, you don't give a shit.
Well, it's in the alley. Of course he's going to be sleazy.
And I remember, and this is why I feel I have a real connection with you.
Yeah.
Because in the alleyway, when that's the beginning, she bent over in the alleyway, and you inserted yourself, and then she started to blow me, and my erection was kind of a semi-erection because I kept looking at you. So when you're standing there trying to get a blowjob and looking at it's really hard.
Why?
And then I remember.
Why would you?
I had a hotel room, so we both went up there, and you went first.
Oh, man.
You were my opening act.
Of course I was, yeah. Well, welcome back to the big program this afternoon. Coffee and Cigarettes, HTLA Radio 1, New York's best talk, where it is 61 in Central Park right now under some cloudy skies. On this Monday, the 27th of April, 2015, 3:49 in the p.m.
Yes.
Yeah. It's important for everybody to know that it's 3:49 in the p.m.
Yeah.
There you go. Take that with you when you go.
Now, here's a story I'm sure you're tired of talking about.
Oh, probably.
I'd be remiss in not bringing it up, and that's when you beat up a transvestite.
Yes. Well, and transsexual, too. I think I just beat them all off, yeah.
Hey, toes, hey.
Oh. Now that's your Cary Grant doing the Jewish chanting, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, toes, hey, Cary Grant.
Yeah.
As a cantor.
Uh-huh.
Hey, toes, hey,
Oh. You got to be careful. You're going to have a stroke. Oh, wait. Yes, we're supposed to be doing the transgender questions.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I got carried away there. That was good, Gilbert. Thank you. Well, moving on to question 3. What are some misconceptions about transgender women and men? Well, honestly, he says, there are more misconceptions, stereotypes, and more hatred aimed than at anyone else, according to Adams. With transgender women, some people think they are simply gay men who transition because they want to be with straight men. But nothing is more wrong. Well, to that I asked, what the hell do you want from us? How the hell are we supposed to... How are we supposed to keep track of this crap, you know? Transgender women are people assigned male at birth who know that their internal sense of themselves is that they're female. They can be attracted to men or women or both. Transgender men are also victims of violence, but it's far and away an epidemic of violence aimed at transgender women, Adams says. Well, thanks for clearing that up. What? Well, Dr. Kaufman says misconceptions also exist among transgender people. So they're so damn confused they fight between themselves. There you go. You know you're screwed up when. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, some transgender people who come in are born from an older generation, and they may think they have to go through full sex reassignment surgery, when in fact they don't have to do any of it, Kaufman says. They can do it all, do it some, or just choose. She says many times transgender men or women are portrayed as mentally ill or having sexual issues or paraphilias, but that's not the case. It's not about sex or sexuality. It's about their identity, Kaufman says. What's really wrong is that they're seen and viewed as people that they're not. I'm not even going to go there. Well, question 4 is how many people in the United States actually identify as transgender? 700,000 is our best estimate, he says. I like to think we could have a small eastern seaboard state with that number, but there are most likely many more than that, Adams added. There's no official survey or population study that asks questions about being transgender. We need to find out more so we know the needs they have in terms of health care and issues they face like job discrimination, Adams says. It's difficult to define policy issues if we don't know who they are, how they live, and what sort of relationship they're in. Why is government in personal lives? Yeah, okay. Number 5, do non-discrimination laws cover transgender people? And this is something that I've often said.
Yes.
Is that if you're an American, you already have your rights and freedoms.
Yes.
You've got the same as everybody else. Hell, you've even got equality. All right? So now why you got to go rock the frickin' boat? Well, there are still 32 states where you can be fired simply for being transgendered, Adams says. So if a state has a non-discrimination law that includes sexual orientation, which covers lesbian, gay, bisexual people, it does not necessarily cover transgendered people. To cover all of us, it would have to specify that you cannot discriminate based on sexual orientation or gender identity, Adams says. Again, what? Oh, whatever, man. Number 6. What is the percent of transgender people who have attempted suicide? Well, this ought to be good. Yeah. A study on transgender people showed that 41% of transgender people reported attempting suicide, compared with only 1.6% of the general population, according to Adams. That's not because transgender people are more mentally unstable. No. No. Clearly, the evidence would support their completely balanced.
Yes.
Yes, but it's because they live in a culture where transgender people are not accepted, and people often find it very difficult to hope they can transition to their authentic self and be happy and successful, he added. Kaufman says that she often likens being transgender to the book The Metamorphosis, where a man turns into a giant cockroach and can no longer communicate with his family or friends. Yes, please remember, this is a PhD doctor saying this.
Yes.
Yeah. She says many people with gender dysphonia have secondary issues like suicidal thoughts and depression that stem from feeling like they're trapped in the wrong body. Some people feel like there is no help, Kaufman says, like the teen in Ohio who killed herself. She felt like there was no way out, and for people who feel that there's no way out, death is a way out. Doctor, haven't you ever heard, permanent solution to a temporary problem? Kaufman says for parents with children who may be struggling with gender identity, support is key. People who are accepted to the best, Kaufman says. We have seen that in all families. Acceptance is protection. So, If you want to have sex with a transgender, there's your protection. Yeah. I guess. I don't. You gotta give me a little break. I'm just winging it. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to present these questions as clearly and professionally as possible. Yes. And moving on to question number 7. When do people start showing signs of gender identity? Well, children can begin expressing the fact that they feel like they are a different sex than the one they assigned at a very young age, Adam says, as soon as they're told by older folks. You know, Johnny, you can be anyone you want to be, even Susie over there. Yes, we have the technology now. We can replace that little Peter.
Yes.
Yes, and we're trying to raise you to be a little bitch beta male, so, the sooner we can get your penis off and a vagina in there, the better off you'll be. Many children engage in gender play, but when a young child persistently and consistently expresses the idea they are a different gender, I'm going to hold the frickin' bus here a minute.
Yes.
Yep. 70s is when I was growing up, before we knew we had penises. Well, I guess that's not fair because, of course, we did have penises. We were playing cowboys and Indians, and the Indians were boys, too. They were braves. They were fighting. And we were shooting with our guns that looked like guns. Yes, we were, and we were having our gunfights every day, and no cops ever came. And, well, at dinner time, Mom screamed for us, and it was time to go to dinner.
Yes.
There you go. No kid ever in my periphery in that entire time went up to me and said, "Hey, Sheriff, me girly girl." No, and no deputy of mine came up to me and said, "Sheriff, I got these tingling feelings in my breasts and in my crotch. I think I'm a girl." No, are you kidding? And why didn't it happen, you might ask? Well, I can tell you, because we didn't have the surgical technology. Yes. But hey, now we do.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, I think I can even get a vagina on an outpatient deal. I think our plan actually allows for that. Well, many children engage in gender play, apparently, but when a young child persistently and consistently expresses the idea that they are a different gender, parents should take that seriously and consult with an expert about whether or not their child might be transgender. Really? Those same experts that gave us attention deficit syndrome and those same professionals that gave us, well, we're just going to put your 7-year-old on some lithium. It'll be okay. Those professionals?
Yes.
Yeah. So many little boys put on mommy's high heels and a tutu. Well, actually, doctor, if you go back and look, that's before they developed their sexual identity. Yes, but she goes on to say that doesn't mean that they're transgender. Yeah, thanks.
Yes.
It's different when every day a child is saying, "I am meant to be a boy, I am really a girl." It goes on a very long time, Adams says, as soon as their programming is complete. Kaufman says that overwhelmingly, transgender people begin wrestling with their gender identity when they're very young, before puberty. She says that puberty is often the time when a transgender man or woman tells family or friends about their internal struggle. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Yes. Oh, my hand holo was at a risk.
Yes.
Puberty is when people's bodies start changing, and they see their body changing in a way they do not want, and it's really a time of crisis for themselves and betrayal, Kaufman says. Thanks for that. Thanks. Okay. Question number 8, to try and help you clear this whole thing up here. Is sexual orientation or sexual preference the best term to use? No, yes, because we wouldn't want to piss off these confused, suicidal people. Oh.
Hey, you, Jones, hey.
You've always got the way of breaking it up there, Gilbert.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, sexual orientation is definitely the preferred term, according to Glad, the garbage bag maker. Preference is, of course, the term to avoid, Adam says. Preference makes it sound like it's a choice. Holy Christ, really? Oh, I prefer vanilla over chocolate ice cream, he said.
We were 5 steps away from winning the Academy Award, and we didn't.
Yeah, and you're here. Yeah. I would say I feel sorry for you, Louie, but I don't.
Yes.
It's because I got to slug through this shit, too. Yeah. Well, question number 9, in helping us all understand transgenders better. How should we talk about gender identity? Well, in my day, we never did. Well, it depends on the situation, of course. If you have a transgendered person in your workplace, school, or church, it's best not to subject a person. This is like dealing with a rabid dog. It's best not to approach them. Well, if you've got a rabid dog in your workplace, school, or church, you just back away slowly.
Yes.
Yes, it's best not to subject the person to a personal and invasive questions about their transition, particularly the medical aspects of their transition, Adam says. Once they find out you have a vagina, they all want to hop on. If you tell them you support the transgender person, they may share over time, but it's not something most transgender people want to be questioned about by acquaintances, coworkers, or even friends, he adds. If you have a transgender person in your family, it's important to show your love and support for them and support that they are who they say they are, making more questions as appropriate, but allow a family member to tell you their story in their own time. And if they refuse to and you treat them like normal, you'll be up on charges. Yeah. It'll be a hate crime. That's what it'll be. Well, I certainly hope that cleared the air. Oh.
Now, here's a segue.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you, Jones, hey, Cary Grant as a cantor. Hey, you, Jones, hey,
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, moving along here, we do have a couple of more stories to get to before the end of the show, which was about 5 minutes ago. Yeah. It's okay, damn it. It's my show.
Yes.
A missing teen hid at school and lived on fruit for 4 days. And no, he wasn't with a fellow transgender. Yeah. That's right. A California teenager who disappeared for 4 days appears to have survived by foraging at his high school. Connor Sullivan, 17, vanished after first period at Mona Vista High School campus in Cupertino last Monday. Returned to his family on Thursday night, telling him that he had been hiding at school and surviving on fruit from surrounding trees and water from fountains. As his family pleaded for him to return home last week, deputies and hundreds of volunteers searched the area for the teenager. They found him because of the massive puddle of diarrhea from, of course, eating all that fruit for 4 days.
Yes.
There you go. There he is. So he's back home safe and sound, and he probably disappeared because he's trying to find his sexuality. That's it. You just, that must be it.
You love to do that kind of stuff. You always did. And put your name up there and dress in different stuff. So fantastic. If I can be of any help, let me know. So what's the email address?
I'm not transgender, Louis. Well, hey, have you been keeping up on the Brian Williams stuff?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll move on then. Screw it. No. NBC sending a message to Brian Williams, quote, "You're dead." Yeah, see, I didn't think you heard that one. Yeah. Well, details about NBC's Brian Williams investigation are leaking out. For example, news broke that he may have told Jon Stewart a tall tale, and yesterday, sources told the Washington Post that the investigation found at least 11 examples of Williams publicly embellishing a story. Those leaks are likely quite intentional, longtime broadcast executives tell Political Playbook. The network is probably trying to force Williams to resign, sending him the message, "You're dead, now negotiate," the sources say. That's because it would be more trouble and possibly more money to have to fire him. Through some NBC insiders say that Williams could still return to the network. One NBC source tells us that any decision from the network is still weeks away, likely after upfronts on May 11th. One person who doesn't think Williams will return to NBC is Dan Rather, who told us today, objectively, it's very hard to see how NBC brings him back. He continued, I said some time ago that I thought his chances were slim to none. You could make a case that Slim just left town. There you go. That's the latest Brian Williams stuff right there.
No, Frank and I were talking that your mother was in a movie.
Yes, we went over this. The Bride of Frankenstein. Thank you. Well, in our final story this afternoon, a 7-year-old has discovered, well, a new dinosaur. Yeah. With help from a fossil-loving schoolboy, scientists have unveiled a bizarre mishmash of dinosaur that was a distant cousin of uber predator Tyrannosaurus rex, but also a committed vegetarian. 11 years ago, Diego Suarez was 7 years old and on a research expedition with his geologist parents when he spotted the first bones of the species, which lived 145 million years ago. That was back before we had the surgery to turn you into a dinosaur. So we're pretty sure it was actually a dinosaur.
Yes.
There we go. Yes, it was named Chelosaurus degorsiae in his honor. Diego's dinosaur had many features in common with carnivorous dinosaurs, but it did not conform to type. Its small head and leaf-shaped teeth were like those of a plant eater, researchers report in this week's Nature. It's like a T-Rex that's been shrunk, but not shrunk equally, says Pete Migoski, an associate curator of the dinosaur specialist at the Field Museum in Chicago, who was not involved in the new find. The animal would have looked more silly than fearful, more similar to an ostrich than a T-Rex. The species has really thrown me for a loop, says paleontologist Steve Broussat at the University of Edinburgh via email. There's nothing else that's been found before that looks remotely like this. Chelosaurus is a remarkable example of beginner's luck. In 2004, Diego accompanied his parents on a field trip to southern Chile. At a Jurassic rock site, he recalls he borrowed his mother's pickaxe and began digging at the ground. Out of nowhere, two small things appeared. They were fossils, Suarez says by email. He ran to show his mother. His parents, he says, were amazed. You can imagine it was to them like winning the lottery. The family sent the fossils to dinosaur specialists in Argentina. At the first, they were disconnected bones found by Diego and his family were thought to belong to several different species, but then when Fernando Novas, an author of the study reporting a new species, returned to the site, he found intact skeletons like nothing he'd ever seen before. The scientists went back to the site 4 more times over several years to excavate and complete the discovery. This new animal combined features belonging to 3 different lineages of dinosaurs, says Novas, a paleontologist at Argentina's Bernardino Rivadavia Museum of Natural Sciences. It was so shocking, he said. It had vertebrae like those of the family that includes predators T-Rex and Velociraptor, but its feet, ankle, and some of its pelvis looked like they belonged to a completely different branch of plant-eating animals. Study co-author Martin Esgura of Britain's University of Birmingham calls it the platypus dinosaur, after the Australian mammal with the duck-like beak. Chaleosaurus ancestors were meat eaters, but somewhere along the way it turned into a diet of plants. I guess that was the transition. Well, most of the Chaleosaurus fossils found at the site are near the size of chickens or turkeys, but the biggest would have been 10 feet long, Novus says. He thinks the site might have been a Chaleosaurus nesting ground, which would explain the concentration of miniature animals. The site also contains crocodile-like creatures and larger plant-eating dinosaurs, all discovered thanks to a kid with a passion for bones. It's amazing to have found this new species, says Juarez. Now an 18-year-old university student, I feel this incredible joy from being able to be part of something really big. Yeah, see? So this kid's got an interest and a passion. You noticed he's not trying to change his penis in. Yeah. He's not calling up the suicide hotline. He's not on lithium with the doctor. He's not getting interviewed for 16.8 million weirdos out there. Oh, no, he's not. Well, that is all the time we got for today's show. I want to thank the one, the only Louis Lawless for coming on down here today, be part of the show.
Did you read the goddamn script? I sent it to you.
I guess not. No. Yes. So thanks for being here, man. Always great to have you here, and I just love having Louis here. He's just...
It's about fucking time. Move on.
Okay. And also, the one, the only Gilbert Gottfried. The show would be nothing without you, my friend.
Yes.
Yeah, it just wouldn't, with your Cary Grant chanting there.
Hey, Jones, hey.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you for being here again, Gilbert. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for listening and support the show for the love of God.
Oh, yes. Support that show. Send in your $5 donation.
Yes.
Well, 61 in Central Park and cloudy, so I think I'm going to go there and, I don't know, see if I can uncover some dino birds. Yeah. So you all have a great rest of your Monday. We'll, of course, be here tomorrow for another Coffee and Cigarettes here, 3 p.m. Eastern. And be sure to tune into HTLA Radio 1 New York tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Of course, got that Straight Talk coming for you with the Road Within. Yes. Yes, it is. So you all have a great day. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
Hi, I'm Gil Fulbright. The people who run my campaign, they've made this commercial, and I'm in it. This campaign, it's not about me. It's about crafting a version of me that'll appeal to you. A version that visits random work sites with paid actors pointing at things. A version of me that doesn't find old people loathsome or pointless. Has a conventionally attractive yet curiously still family. Listening to my constituents, legislating, these are things I don't do. What I do is spend about 70% of my time raising funds for re-election. I'd do anything to stay in office. My name's Gil Fulbright, but hell, I'll change my name to Phil Goldbright or Bill Fulbright or fill up my mouth with farts. These are the things that are important to me. And these are the fine people that finance my campaign. Now, in order to do these things, I have to stay in office. And to stay in office, I have to keep these guys happy. Now, if any of these things make these guys unhappy, well, my hands are tied. So come November, the choice is clear. Do you want another spineless mouthpiece for special interest and lobbyists? Or a spineless mouthpiece for special interest and lobbyists? I'm Philip, a mouth with farts, and I approve this message.